I'm Crystal Hurley, and I'm so glad you're here, and I'm proud of you for taking these 15 minutes to invest in yourself and start your week off on a positive, empowering note. You might see my dogs jumping around in the background, so I hope that you love dogs. We just hope that there's nothing that comes up outside that makes them bark and go crazy. So, fingers crossed for that. And I wanted to tell you real quick why I'm talking about this stuff, why I'm talking about love, why I'm focusing on single women. And it's because I love love. And I have personal experiences that have helped me in ways that I find can be helpful for others. I love helping friends, I love helping whoever I can. But on top of that, I have my education in psychology and mental health, and I've been able to like analyze my personal experiences and connect them with like real principles in the field of psychology. So I feel like that's what's unique to what I do and how I want to help people. Oh, have you guys been watching The Ultimatum? I have been really enjoying The Ultimatum, and it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I never used to watch reality TV, but now it's really fun. And I love seeing people searching for love. Anyways, in The Ultimatum, they go on this show to see if they're going to marry the person that they're with, and they think that their relationship needs to be evaluated and they need to figure certain things out. But consistently, the participants have said that as they've gone through the journey, they've realized it's all about self exploration. The whole journey is learning more about themselves. And that's how they're going to come to the answer. That's how they're going to know if the person is the right person or not. And that is the premise of my work. The goal is love. The goal is a love that completes you and lifts you up and doesn't hurt you, a love that you can trust in. But we're going about it by focusing on you and becoming a more knowing yourself better. This week, we're specifically talking about awareness and how that plays a role. Awareness is the very first step in getting whatever you want in life. And in our time together, we'll be talking about finding a true love. But awareness is the first step for creating whatever kind of life that you want. And it's some people are naturally more self-aware than others, and it's an interesting concept because we don't know what we're not aware of because it's out of our awareness. So even if you find that you are self-aware, I want to offer tools and concepts to help you check in and evaluate how self-aware you are so you can stay honest with yourself and check in to make sure you're doing your best. I relate awareness to three concepts: mindfulness, overthinking, and memory. When we're not being mindful to something, we're also not being aware. Like those kind of play together. So you can ask yourself, like, how good am I at mindfulness? How good am I at paying attention to the present moment and being in the present moment? That's a gauge of how aware you are. Overthinking, I find, is when we weren't aware in the moment, then we find ourselves overthinking, what did I say? What was the conversation? What was that interaction like? What could I have done differently? And we are second guessing ourselves. When we're not aware of interactions and choices that we make, later on we can second guess how it went, and that can be very stressful. Thirdly is memory, and again, the idea of not being present when we're in an exchange with someone. If we're thinking about, when is this event going to be over, or uh, why did she just look at my hair? Why did he just look at my face? Do I have something on my face? Like, those are thoughts that we're having, and we're not being fully present in the actual exchange. So then afterwards, we might not even remember like something that we agreed to or something that we said, and I don't remember if I told you this, but blah blah blah, or I don't remember you telling me that. That kind of lack of memory. All right, so we're going to start with being more aware of our thoughts. And this is going to start with reflection because we're building a muscle where we're going to reflect on what you were thinking. And the goal is that it becomes closer to the present moment. And when you're reflecting in the present moment, that's awareness. Quick analogy: driving down the highway, road trip for 100 miles. We have to go like 4 or 5 exits or something. This is the New York Thruway. I don't know what other highways are. Well, I do, but anyways. So we're driving. All of a sudden, we're going to exit 20, and all of a sudden, we're at exit 19. We're like, oh, wow, the exit's coming up. Like, where did that time go? That kind of, I zoned out, and all of a sudden, you're almost at your destination. Versus going somewhere for the very first time in the city on busy streets, and the GPS is giving us turn by turn. Think about where your head is at on that long road trip on a straight highway where you zoned out versus in a busy streets, first time you're going somewhere, you have to listen to the GPS step by step. Like, you're very aware of your surroundings and what you're doing. And that's one way to think about levels of awareness. I think a lot of people can relate to that. So we are going to be focusing specifically on our thoughts. And again, with the highway analogy, our mind goes somewhere. We're thinking, we just have different levels of how aware we are of thinking. Okay? And gaining awareness of those thoughts is the goal. So, 2 ways to try, reminding yourself to check in on what you were thinking, this moment of reflection, is one, I love setting a timer. Setting a timer for 3 or 4 or 5 times throughout the day. Put on the little text like, reflect on what I was thinking. It's very straightforward. Sometimes timers aren't as effective after a few weeks because we just ignore it. But in the beginning, I think a timer is an excellent way to check in frequently. The other option is adding it to something you're already doing in your routine, such as at meal times. And that's what we're going to use for this week. Your homework is to, at each mealtime, at the end of your mealtime, take a moment and just be like, what did I think about during this meal? Okay? And the idea is that a majority of us have some awareness, but the example is right now, you're going back to work soon. So maybe at the end of this lunch, you check in on, what was I thinking about this lunch? And a thought could likely be, my lunchtime's running out. I got to get back to work. Okay. And then you can ask yourself, why was I thinking about getting back to work? Maybe you become aware of a thought like, well, I don't want to be late. It's bad to be late. Like, okay, let's think about why was I thinking about it's bad to be late? And maybe you're thinking, I don't want to get in trouble. And we're just digging deeper into that awareness. And that thought of like, I don't want to get in trouble might make a lot more sense as why your anxiety is increasing a little bit as it gets closer to the end of lunch, or why you're watching the clock more closely when it gets close to the end of lunch, because you don't want to be late and you're thinking about being punished. Okay? So when we gain awareness of like not just surface level thoughts, but digging deep a little bit lower, it explains our feelings more. It explains why we do what we do more. And putting this in the context of dating and finding love, we start to recognize why we're repeating patterns. Like, maybe you, I don't know, were trying to go up to someone all night and you thought this person was really handsome or beautiful, and you end up leaving without saying hi. So let's reflect on that. Like, why didn't I say hi? I was nervous. Why was I nervous? I don't want that person to say no. Why don't I want that person to say no? Because I don't want to feel rejected. Why don't I want to feel rejected? Because then I'll feel bad about myself, or that will confirm that I'm not worth it or something. And as we dig deeper, we come up with these feelings, these beliefs, like, of why we do what we do. We weren't able to go up to that person to say hi because we didn't want to be rejected and feel bad about ourselves. Okay, maybe that wasn't in your awareness of a day ago. Like, it's a journey. We build more and more awareness. So that's just an example. I love giving examples, and I'd be very curious to find out if examples are helpful for you. So, awareness is a superpower because not everyone has it. And when we do have it, we have more control over our life. Part of our life is finding someone that we get along with, that um, that we get along with, that makes us truly laugh, that we can completely be ourselves with, that that completes us, that is an addition to our life versus a stress in our life. Okay, I like to think that being in a relationship is different than being in love. So I'm gonna post some more throughout the week. My plan is to like have a theme of the week. This week is awareness. So next week I realized is Labor Day. I'm not gonna jump on Labor Day because I think a lot of people will be taking the day off. I encourage you to take a break. And the week after that, I'm gonna start talking about perspective and how we can see things from various perspectives. Because sometimes we just see things one way, and it's really hard to consider what other way we could see it. And again, all of this is about working on ourselves, personal growth, with the goal of finding that love that is just makes us whole. Anyways, I don't need to keep repeating that. But I hope that you have a great week, and I'll be thinking of you and your journey. And remember the homework. I hope that you get to try it, and I would love to hear from you if you do try it, if you find that it's hard, if you found it helpful. If you have questions or like something doesn't make sense, reach out to me. I'm going to be live a lot more person because I'm a real person, and I know that AI is getting huge, and I want people to know that I'm here. This is inside of my head, and I really do want to help you. So reach out. I'll catch you in a couple of Mondays and we'll talk soon. And thank you again for joining me and investing these 15 minutes in momentum towards building the life that you want, including having the love that you deserve. Okay. Bye, guys.